I just want to briefly point out that Dr. Kip Davis is in the audience, which is pretty awesome. If you guys don't know who that is, you should go check out his YouTube channel. Uh,
Yeah, I noticed that.
expert on the Dead Sea Scrolls,
Yeah, cool.
I'm sure John would love to talk to him.
and he's up on stage. How you doing, Kip?
Okay, just enjoying my coffee.
Hey, Dr. Josh, you don't take mythicism seriously, do you?
No.
So what do you think about Richard Carey then? Do you take him seriously?
So, I mean, you probably should ask Dr. Davis this, just because he's engaged more. But like, I've engaged with Dr. Carey a couple of times, but on things that are completely unrelated to mythicism. We did a stream together once, I think, on like science in the ancient world, and I thought he was brilliant on the topic. Not that I have like an expertise in science and technology or anything, but
So, Dr. Davis, are you a mythicist?
No.
Do you take mythicism seriously?
Not particularly. And the reason for that is because as I see it, it's built on a series of overlapping assumptions, none of which can be maintained from the evidence that we have within the texts.
So, do you take Dr. Carrier seriously?
Not when he's speaking about mythicism, not when he's speaking about early Judaism, not when he's speaking about the New Testament. No.
Okay, I just wanted to know your opinion.
in case anyone doesn't know, like Dr. Davis is pretty brilliant. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm just really excited that he's up here.
Or in Richard Carrier's words, a pedant and incompetent.
That's what he called you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I mean, he's called much brighter people than me much worse things. So I feel like I'm in good company. I don't know.
Your doctorate in, Dr. Davis?
My PhD is in religions and theology. My specialization is Hebrew Bible, early Judaism, and specifically the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Can I just plug something for you, Doctor, if that's okay? Myth Vision interviewed Dr. Davis in the context of what the problem is with Christian apologetics. Fantastic interview. I'm a huge. I just realized that was you. So anyway, if anyone hasn't seen it, it's really good. I'll put the link in the chat. It's fantastic.
Hey, so Paul, when are you going to become an atheist?
Never. But I'll never become your kind of Christian.
And Dr. Davis will downplay, or maybe not. So I'm going to do it for him. There's only a small handful of people that are qualified to do what he does with the Dead Sea Scrolls, and he was handpicked by one of the best textual critics in the world to come work for him personally. So yeah, he's good.
He's also a scholar like Dr. Bowen, who actually will discuss and talk to Christian apologists, which I super appreciate.
So what do you think is the most notable thing that the public maybe ought to know about the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Just one thing?
Yeah, I mean, just the main. Well, you could say a few things if you want, but
I've got if people are interested, I'm working on in an effort to make this stuff fairly accessible. I am working on a video series. There's 3 videos out now about the Dead Sea Scrolls, and there's going to be more coming. But what people should know is that first and foremost, these are our earliest manuscript sources for the text of the Old Testament by orders of magnitude. They originated in the region of Palestine, specifically in or around the environs of Jerusalem, which is important in terms of establishing the Hebrew text of the Bible. And what else? They provide a lot more information, not just about the text of the Old Testament, but they're also probably the most significant resource for understanding early Judaism in and around the time of Jesus. The Dead Sea Scrolls were all either written or copied sometime between 250 BC and about 100 CE.
I did have a separate question that's maybe not related, but when do you think the Torah was written? About what year?
That's also a complicated question. But I would say, I mean, the Torah as we have it, or something approximating the Torah as we have it, I think is pretty late. Probably doesn't show up until the Persian period.
So you don't do you believe Moses existed?
Not not the Moses that you see identified in the books of Exodus. In fact, the earliest traditions that we have of the Exodus, who feature this charismatic leader leading the people out of Egypt. This guy's anonymous in the earliest traditions that we have. So I think a figure like Moses potentially existed, and that there was quite possibly a migration of some sort of Semitic peoples out of Egypt, perhaps as a result of a slave revolt or a dispute of some sort, and that this eventually found its way into these Exodus traditions featuring Moses.
So kind of like a mythology or legend has been created from actual
Yeah,
historical events, something like that.
possibly from historical events, but yeah, I'm not sold on that. But I think that's possible, though.
What is your thoughts on the Bible's views on slavery? You think it supports it, condones it, condemns it?
Well, I mean, I've done now two 2.5 hour panels with Josh Bowen and like was it just three, Josh? You, me, Matt. Yeah. Three other biblical scholars, and we all are in essential agreement on this issue. So yeah, slavery is endorsed in the Bible.
Thank you, kind sir. Appreciate that.
Ouch.
Where's Matt?
No,
We need
no,
Matt to be here
Matt
for this.
Adams said it's not, so therefore it's not.
Well, that's the kind of well, I asked Dr. Josh because of his book, he uses the word endorse as well. And so I asked him, by endorse, do you mean morally approve? And he replied that he's not really an ethicist. And so my question to you, Dr. Kipp or Davis, is do you also define endorse as morally approve in that sense of the word?
Oh, I guess I haven't given it that much thought, but the text is pretty explicit in making provisions for the purchase and keeping of slaves.
Sure. I mean, a
It's
Christian could agree with that, but it also makes provisions for divorce as well. And so, but if you ask the Christian, does the Bible condone or endorse divorce? Well, I think the answer would be no.
yeah,
Why would you
but
say
you
that when it
can't.
does?
Because the understanding of permission, allowance, it does not entail endorsement or condoning of. Doesn't promote it.
Yeah, but
Not
then
even
you guys
knowing it's
make the
good.
mistake of extending that to whatever you find distasteful in the Old Testament. You just can't do that.
Well, I mean, like I said, we don't find divorce distasteful, right? But we do understand that there is a provision when there is infidelity and legality that one can divorce under the Mosaic law. But as Jesus said, this was not always the case. It's because of the hardness of your heart. And so Israel had a king, right? Israel had slavery, all sorts of things. But it doesn't necessarily mean that God is promoting this in any way.
Yeah, but Jesus never spoke explicitly against either of those things.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
divorce.
But neither would the Christian. We Christians don't speak against slavery.
Right. So you endorse it.
No, the lack of promoting does not entail endorsement.
Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, that's fine.
Imagine that. John doesn't know what he's talking about.
I'd like to say I like you already.
Yeah, Kip, you are now an official member of the community. Please stay around. You saw through John's bullshit in exactly 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous to claim that, uh, you know, just because you're not condemning something, that you're endorsing something.
I don't think Kip's making that statement based on just that general concept, right? Like
He
I
literally
think he's
said
looking
Jesus
at
did not
this.
speak against it, sir. And then the conclusion was,
So,
therefore, he's endorsing it. That's ridiculous.
Team John, you don't mind if I finish, right?
I'm sorry for interrupting.
Okay, that's good. So, yeah, I don't think that Kip is, Kip, you can correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't think Kip is just saying on like some sort of a basic principle, devoid of any other like contextual clues or things added in here in this particular case. There's a lot involved in what the rest of the biblical texts say. And so, given that, again, Kip, you correct me if you're making just a more basic point. But what would be required, I think, in order for him or me or probably anybody else that deals with the topic to be able to say, yeah, we think that it's not endorsing it by Jesus not speaking about it, would be that the rest of the text would have to be either neutral or in some way, negative toward the idea. But Kip, do you think that's fair or no?
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
And so, I mean, when I try to ask you, Dr. Davis, because you use the word endorse, and there's an agreement of endorse, you also stated. And so I did ask one of the panelists what he meant by endorse. He did not, in his book, mention it in a moral sense, according to him. And so when you say endorse, sir, are you in agreement that it's not a moral statement? It's a simple question.
John.
It's not a simple question.
Okay.
John, John. Now, I'm not a mod very often, right? So this is the one time that I feel like I can say this. Kip is a guest. It's his first time here. There's no reason to be like this. Calm down.
Okay. But
It can't be any other way,
this
though.
question still
Josh,
No,
stands,
that's the
sir.
problem. That's the problem. We
it's
really want to hear
fine,
John crap the bed with an
Rex.
actual scholar.
It's fine. Yeah. I probably shouldn't have popped in here while I'm trying to do like two things at once. So I'm afraid I can't give my full attention to this conversation.
And
But
sorry, that's my fault, Kip. Sorry.
I mean, no,
Bugged you
that's
to come
cool.
up here.
Thank you for coming, though. Even though
Sure.
you are busy, we appreciate your knowledgeable brain being on offer for us.
East
Sure.
was never an option.
Don't
Yeah,
apologize to God. He does these things all the
But
time.
I
and
mean,
also, Dr. Davis, I do apologize if I seem to be confrontational. I was just
no,
trying
it
to,
was fine.
yeah.
I
Thank
didn't
you.
I didn't I didn't that's fine. I didn't sense that at all. I guess my frustration is just having to think through something as complex and nuanced as this in this sort of a venue where I don't have the time to unpack these
That's fair enough.
ideas in the depth that I would prefer to when providing a response.
And that's more
Well,
than fair.
perhaps there's an explanation, John. Maybe you weren't meaning to be confrontational. Maybe perhaps you were just asking questions. Were you just asking questions?
Well, obviously I was asking questions, but just asking questions, I don't even know what you mean by that.
So, and I would
like honest inquiry.
Maybe I
But
can
you said
just.
it earlier. You were just asking questions. You said
What do
that
you
too. You
mean?
were
Again,
just
He's
asking
asking
questions. You
questions.
said that earlier to me.
With respects to honest, I was asking questions, but I was also asking in a critical manner. There's no reason for me to be critical of Dr. Davis. I don't know him for one, and his statement
maybe
about
maybe
endorsing,
if
I
you
just want a
are
clarification.
maybe if you are interested in my more nuanced perspective on this issue, you could go and watch the 2 panel videos that I mentioned,
Sure, I would
where
love to.
I lay this out more explicitly,
Um,
but don't have the space in my attention level right now
sure.
to unpack all that.
Do
So
you have a link available by any chance, sir?
I
I'll
could
grab it,
find.
Kip. Don't worry.
Oh,
I'll grab it.
thanks, because I don't know what I'm doing. So
It's crazy how all the scholars disagree with John and Matt about everything, man. It's crazy, crazy.
I'm not convinced there's disagreement yet because the certain things have not been defined.
No, that's right. Matt keeps claiming that Joshua disagrees with him. Ugh.
Yeah, Matt and Josh and Dr.
I'll just
Josh
ask you
agree.
quickly if you
Yeah,
can answer.
Because
Are
when you
you?
said that
yeah.
the Bible
I
clearly
mean,
makes provisions for slavery, I mean, I'm down with
chapter
that.
4 of Joshua's book, pretty, if he read the entire book, he wouldn't be saying the things he said. Well, he might still say them, but, you know. Ugh.
Yeah, what percentage wise do you think they agree with you, John? Would you say it's about 90% or 98%?
Soltex, come
I
on.
have no idea.
Come on.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
Why
it's
would I
kind of like an
estimate that when
argument
I don't even know a
where
position that's being
it's kind of
held?
like an argument. John says that it's valid and he agrees with all the premises being true, but he just doesn't agree with the conclusion.
Yeah, that's not analogous.
Pretty much.
Yeah, cool story. Yeah, like I believe that yeah, premises are true, but the conclusion's not sound. Yeah, sure thing, dude. And it's valid.
Conclusions aren't sound, John.
Yeah. Well, the argument, sir, would be sound. But why would I claim it's not?
Because there's provisions made for slavery in the Bible. It's basically publicly approved of. Divorce is publicly approved of in certain situations. Divorce is also endorsed in the Bible.
So now you have prescribed the semantics of endorse when I'm actually trying to inquire about the usage of endorse. It seems to me you got it
There
all
you go.
figured out what endorse means.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool beans.
Cool Brussels sprouts.
I don't have an argument or any way to
It's
rebut
like you
that.
were
So I'm
just
just going to say
asking
a quick
questions
story.
and you got them answered. There you go.
I didn't get an answer yet. It seems to be a little bit nuanced, so I'll accept. I accept that answer. It's very honest. For you, I can't say the same.
It wasn't honest for you to say that he was saying because it doesn't denounce something, therefore it approves of something. That was obviously, to anyone who was actually listening, in conjunction with the other factors that he was listing, like explicitly making provisions for how and where to buy slaves.
Yeah, I'm already down with that. I agree with him that certainly the Bible makes such provisions.
Yeah, which means that, at one point you were trying to push this narrative that because he said it wasn't denounced, and only because of that, therefore it approves of things. Like if it doesn't denounce rape, then it approves of rape. Unbelievable.
But that's not my reasoning. And I don't mean to misrepresent anyone, but I thought that's exactly what I heard.
That was your reasoning. You
John,
said
why?
surely because someone doesn't denounce something, it's not permitted or something, like solely because of that. That you said something
Yeah,
like that.
you
It's
don't even know what I
ridiculous.
said. You can't even steal man what I said. Listen to yourself.
That's pretty much what you said. I heard
You
exactly
didn't.
what you
You didn't
said.
even
That's not
say something. You
verbatim.
didn't even say anything intelligible. 30 seconds ago.
That's not verbatim, but that's essentially the spirit of what you said.
Fair.
Am I wrong? Someone tell me I'm wrong.
I
Go
said
ahead.
something like nonsense. Yeah, you're speaking. You didn't say something intelligible.
Can you repeat what
Yes, I
Tom
did.
said? Can you repeat what Tom
It's
said, John?
unintelligible.
Oh, so you don't know what he said. You weren't listening.
He said something like that. He didn't even make a statement.
Like what? What did he say?
Yeah, never mind.
John, I hear your voice changing. Did I hit a nerve, John?
Yeah, I'm a little frustrated with your nonsense. That's correct.
Good. Excellent. Seethe.